Hello everyone, it is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting live stream. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about my day-to-day, June 15th, 2019. Did I just say June? I meant July 15th, 2019. It is Monday. I'm starting the stream a little bit earlier today, so it is 7:39 p.m. I'm going to tell you guys about my day. Feel free to jump into the live chat. Tell me about how you guys are doing today. If you have any questions for your boy, and if you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream. I'm curious to see what starting the vlog earlier, like what the reaction's going to be, because it's either going to be a thing where people don't show up until like the normal time and then they're going to be like, whoa, like how did I miss so much? Or it's going to be a thing where people like don't show up at all because they expect to get the notification at 8 and then they never get the 8 notification. So they're like, what happened? But we'll see. It looks like we at least got one person who's come at this earlier setup. And don't worry, we're not going to always do it earlier. I'm just doing it earlier right now. Ryan said those people are lame. I mean, I don't think that's true. Yo, Ryan, how's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Let's see. Um, oh yeah, I was going to pull up the live chat. That way I'll be able to keep up with what you guys are saying on my monitor screen. Monitor screen's kind of redundant to say. What was I thinking about? So today, I mainly just did work. Ryan said there's a new forbidden slash limited list for Yu-Gi-Oh! Effective today. Oh, that's interesting. I imagine your boy DPYGO dropped a video on it. I have not watched any DPYGO videos today, so I might want to check that out. I think my headphones are in another room, but it would probably be worth it to watch the video. Anything of note get hit, Ryan? Like anything where you're like, yo, you should really know that is gone? Because I think that'd be interesting. Um, Hmm. Oh yeah, I was gonna tell you guys what I've been up to today. Mainly just like learning JavaScript and doing a bunch of different tutorials on W3 schools. Yo, Kels, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Ryan just brought up that there's a new forbidden slash limited list effective today for Yu-Gi-Oh! So if you haven't heard about that, highly recommend you check that out. A matter of fact, I'll post a link to the DPYGO video in the live chat. I myself haven't seen it yet, but I imagine he does a good job of going over it. Um, oh yeah, like I said, mainly just practicing JavaScript, going through all the tutorials on w3schools.com. The tutorials have been kind of slow, but I feel like they're about to pick up now that I've gotten farther in it. Your boy Kel said, can you instant transmission over to the Amino? Yeah, I can pull up the Amino, no problem. Sam White said, what's poppin'? Yo, Sam White, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Real quick, I'm going to post a link to that DPYGO video that I haven't seen. Uh, but I imagine if you guys are into Yu-Gi-Oh! And you want to know more about like the current, bleh, not curtain, current forbidden limited lists that they have going on right now, this definitely would be a good video to check out. I just said Yu-Gi-Oh! On the new ban list. That is not what I meant to say. Video on the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban list. Sam White said, well, I just got back from camp and Magic the Gathering is great. I'm glad that you had, you didn't say that you had a good time at camp. I hope you had a good time at camp, and I guess I'm glad that you're enjoying Magic the Gathering. Have you heard that Magic the Gathering is going to get an animated series soon on Netflix? And if you have, or even if you haven't, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think the show is going to focus on the lore of the cards, or on people playing the game, or both? What do you think it's going to be about? And then Sam White said, and I'm good. How about you? Oh, fantastic as always. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. Um, I don't know why I feel like I'm in a constant state of drawing a blank. Kels wanted me to check out the Amino. That was the last thing that I was on. And I don't have a lot to say about my day other than, coding, doing the normal work stuff. Nothing too crazy. Let's see. Sam White said, camp was fun, and I'm hype about the cards. Okay, nice, nice. Hmm. So Tangent posted a thing about furries on the Amino. Shuri-chan posted something that they called Shock. Is this an art piece that Shuri did? There's no like description. I don't know if Shuri drew this or not. Looks like an edited picture of an anime Neko girl with a Freddy Fazbear's hat on. Let's see, scrolling through the Amino. So it looks like Kells has redesigned his stand. So if you guys aren't familiar with that, Kells wrote a fan fiction where me and him battled it out, and we both had stands where we faced off against each other in a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure style fight. And he had a stand called Sugar. So he has redesigned his stand, and I will post a link to that in the live chat for those who are interested in checking that out. So Kells redesigned stand. And here's that Amino link. Amino links are way too long for what they are. Let's see. Oh, interesting. So Kells explains in his Amino post that the reason why he redesigned Sugar is because if his stand was to have been split in two, based on how stands work, it would mean that his soul was split in two. And he's like, I'm not that edgy. So he changed it to just having one body. He says that it has the same ability and stats. He says he might change the stats. And then But yeah, that seems to be about it. When it comes to the redesign, I like the colors on it. I actually do dig the blue, white, black, and yellow color scheme. The little tentacles that come off of it that are like wires kind of remind me of feedback. Sam White said it looks pretty good. Hey, I'm glad you guys are digging Kells' artwork. Ray King said, yo, Ray King, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? We were just looking at Kells' new redesigned stand that he made. Yo, Kevin, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Kevin said, hey, Jet in chat. Like I said, we're just looking at Kells' redesigned stand character that he put on the Amino. I put a link to that in the live chat if you guys want to check it out. I kind of talked about my day. I didn't have a lot to say about my day other than like it was good. Kel said tentacles. I meant the little wires that he has. They kind of almost look like those pulley tightening, not pulley, hoodie tightening strings or whatever. I don't know what they're called, but you can tell that they're also like wires. I know tentacles was a weird name for it, but that was the first thing that like came to my mind. Sam White said, Jet, look at the Magic the Gathering card, Onoth, the Lotus of Reggae. Okay, I'll make sure to check that out. Real quick though, Kells actually has a second version of his stand. So I'm going to go over that real quick. I'm trying to figure out what to call it. Well, Kells' stand. Sugar Requiem. Do 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 do. Then Kel said, "Yeah, they're hoodie string thingies with plugs at the end." Yeah. Then Ray King said, "Ben 10." Hey, yo, I'm always down for a Ben 10 talk. Do you guys have any Ben 10 topics that you guys would like to talk about? I am there to discuss that. Hella hype. Sam White said, "Sorry, misspell of rage." Oh, no problem at all. So, Lotus of Rage. Okay, Onath, the Lotus of Rage. Also, don't forget to smash that like button if you guys haven't already. Let me. Oh wait, before I go over to check out the Magic the Gathering card, I posted a link to Kells' new stand setup, but I didn't actually read over it. Let me read over it real quick. I don't want to just brush past it. Let's see. A Requiem stand is created by a Requiem arrow, pierces your stand, it will merge with it, awaken the stand's most powerful form. So it makes your stand essentially have like an ultimate transformation like Benton. It's like the evolved version of your form. Well, it's like the best possible version of your stand. So it's like hitting like the peak transformation, unlocking that full potential. Ray King said, I am Ben 10 God. If there was a show called Ben 10 God, what do you think it would be about? Like if it was like another series, a part of the line of Ben 10 series, what do you think the storyline of Ben 10 God would revolve around? Let's see. Sugar's ability mostly revolves around sending and receiving information. His Rakim ability would have the power to know every aspect of everyone and everything within its range. So it's not necessarily omniscient, but it seems like within its range, it more or less is. It could effectively predict the future with 100% accuracy because it'll know the true nature of everything within its range. Let's see. And then I've never understood this part. Kels has explained this to me before, but all the stats have letters next to them. I don't really know what any of those letters mean, except range. He defined it very clearly. He was like the size of a large sports stadium. I appreciate that because to me the letters don't really mean anything. Let's see. Ray Kingdom said, "Hold up." Nani said, "As long as she isn't a Nick." Yo, Nani, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? Do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Right now, we're looking at Kels's powered up stand. You can see the link to it in the live chat. He posted it to the Amino. Kevin said, I haven't made my Slim characters in story yet. He said, I have a rough idea what the story is, but when it comes to drawing, how does one draw a helmet that has a clear screen part of the helmet and still be able to see the character's face? Um, it sounds like you draw the helmet and you make the tint of the helmet very light. I don't know if you want it to be entirely clear or if you're trying to like make it just seem somewhat tinted, but I imagine when you like go for the tint shading, you just make the tint very light. Or if you're going for perfectly clear, which I guess isn't entirely realistic, but whatever, you just wouldn't tint it at all. And you might want to add an effect that makes it look like lights reflecting off of it. Though I'm not an artist. There are, Kels and Nani would know more than what I know on that. Ray King said, Kels, this stupid. I don't know why Ray King thinks it's stupid. Nani said noise. And then Ray King said only one stand can power up. Then Kels said the stand stats are very vague. It's really only good when you compare the stats to other stands to gain any real meaning from them. Yeah, they seem very relative. But I mean, most things are relative. I guess the thing that I don't like about it is that each letter doesn't have like a defined meaning behind it other than the basic like GPA for like school stuff. I would prefer if they maybe had like numbers or something. And then for each number, I mean, that's arbitrary. It doesn't have to be numbers. I just wish the letters meant something other than like better than other thing or worse than other thing. You know what I mean? Even the letters for school, when you have like A, B, C, D, or whatever, have a meaning. Like C is supposed to be like average, and D is like below average. B is like above average, and A is like significantly above average. Which you could say that for this, but I feel like the stats for JoJo stands just don't have enough context for that to really mean anything. So it just feels weird. I just don't fully understand. Also, what is perdition? I noticed that perdition is one of the stats, and I'm like, I don't know what that word means. Do, do. A state of eternal punishment and damnation into which a sinful and unpenitent person passes after death. Did I read that right? Yeah, you wrote perdition. Why is that like a stand stat? Why, why would that be a thing? Let's see. Ray King said so. He said I need to cool down. Okay. I hope you are able to cool down, Ray King. Best of luck. Nani said I see. Kel said, oh crap, it's supposed to be precision. Okay. That makes a little more sense. The other stat idea was kind of weird. I was like, are stands like hellish things? What's going on? Mike Tech 142 said, hey man, have you heard about the Area 51 raid on September 20th, 2019? Yeah, actually. One of my friends sent me like a Facebook invite to that or whatever. Uh, I'll pass. No thanks. Are you going? Apparently, people are gonna go. Nani said, as long as Nick is okay. Kevin said, maybe if I draw the character's head at an angle, the screen shouldn't be in the way of their face. Just a theory, so I don't know. For the visor that you're gonna have on the helmet, is it gonna be like up or down? Kel said, how do you like Sugar Requiem? Let's see, if the stand reaches maximum potential, it can know, what you used to know, what will you know in the future, and be able to charge it. Do you mean charge it or change it? Also, when it comes to the design scheme, for a minute I thought there was more. I saw like a little bit under it, and I thought it like streamed into a second picture. So the energy arms, I'm imagining them as like an energy kind of thing, like the blue parts. Those kind of remind me of Shock Rock. It has a very similar like blue tint, and the black that's around it kind of reminds me of like rock specks kind of thing. The face, with the like mainly white face with the color tinges on the sides, kind of reminds me of like Lord Frieza. Um, just a little bit. It's not like spot on like Frieza or anything, but that's my first thought. My second thought is like Abe, the fish guy from Hellboy, because of the eyes. The eyes make me think of the fish dude from Hellboy. The robes with like the hoodie, um, they make me think about Hit from Dragon Ball Super. Not necessarily the hood part, but the body into the coat like tail that it has. That makes me go like, ooh, that's a lot like Hit's design. And then the little belt symbol kind of makes me think of like an anchor. And for whatever reason, it makes me think about like Aquaman. I think it's a pretty unique design. Um, I like all the different elements and how you've kind of put them together. And I do dig the color scheme for the most part. Um, I don't really have a problem with the color scheme, and I don't know what the alternate color scheme would be. I guess I don't even know why I said that. It's just a thing where it's like I look at it and I'm like, it's cool. I guess I'm just not personally a fan of those particular colors necessarily. I think maybe the yellow is what I'm like not as into, but that's just a subjective thing. I think that's perfectly fine. I like it. I dig what you did there. Let's see. Let's see. Where we at? Where we at? Kel said, how do you like Sugar Requiem? Nani said, you mean the Area 51 massacre? Then Ryan said, it will be funny to see how small that crowd is. Then Kel said, I meant change it. Understandable. Mike Tech 142 said, no, I'm not that stupid, but I do want to see aliens another way instead of going to kill myself. I don't think anyone would die. Like if a whole bunch of people ran up to like Area 51 or whatever, I don't think it would be like like that just seems kind of random. Ryan said lol. Kel said oof. Is that oof in regards to the Area 51 thing? Then Ryan said, why would any aliens be in Area 51? Kel said the blue parts aren't supposed to be energy. It's just the color of its skin. Interesting. So if the blue parts are the colors of its skin, does that mean that its sleeves stop here, but then continue like here? Or is it like gloves that are long and the gloves go up to here and then his sleeves stop up here so then you see the arms in the middle? And then also, what is the white part in between the legs of the stand? Is that like underwear? Is that like an absence of like anything? Like are the legs like kind of separate from the rest of the body? Because now I just have questions. Because now I'm like, oh, the blue is, if the blue is the skin, then that means I'm seeing skin on the pants. But then why doesn't the coat go low enough? I don't know. I'm just thinking. Let's see. Ray King said, Kells, it is bad. Only art is good. Not to be that guy. I don't know what Ray King's saying. I like the art though. I dig it. Sam White said, Jet, the card. Hit me up with that card name again. It seemed like it had Lotus and Rage and Magic the Gathering. That's all I remember. I'm gonna type that in. Was it Omnath, Locus of Rage? Because if so, then I'm about to be looking at it. So you just want me to look at the card art? Do 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 do. Also, that's currently loading up. Give me one moment to catch up with the live chat and then hit that up. Nani said, "You hella missed my art last stream." I did hella miss your art at last stream, Nani. Are you gonna post it to the amino again? Ray King said, "What if you ask, this is killing the show?" I'm still lost, Ray King, on the meaning of your sentence. Then Kel said, "What, Ray King?" I feel like he also is not aware of the meaning of the sentence. Kevin said, "Jet, do you know if some symbols, like the danger sign, like for toxic gas or so on, is copyrighted or not?" You're fine if you're using any like common symbols. Like if you wanted to use like the first aid cross or like the radiation symbol or anything like that on your character, I think you'd be perfectly fine. Plenty of characters use like the radiation symbol and stuff like that. I don't think there's a trademark on it or anything weird like that. Ryan said, "They kill anyone who approaches Area 51, though, according to their signs." He said, "I haven't heard of anyone trying to breach it to that extent." Um, I guess I'm very curious to see what they have planned because it's a very public knowledge thing that multiple people want to go and run up on Area 51. It's more or less a flash mob trying to go up to Area 51 and just kind of like do like a meme kind of thing. I guess I'd be very surprised if it was a thing where a whole bunch of people ran up to Area 51 and you see it on the news and they're like, they gunned everyone down. I'd be like, whoa, wait, what? It'd just be kind of crazy. Let's see. Ryan said, or perhaps such a person would just disappear from the Jedi archives. Star Wars references. Kel said, the white part is just a crotch area. He said, I probably should have colored it or something. Oh, no problem at all. And then Sam White said, yep, you got it. And then Sam said, and what it does. Okay, yeah, I can read the card if you want. Beth said, hey everyone, we have a surprise collab coming up soon. Y'all will see. And then she put a what expression is that face for the emoji? I have no idea. I have no way to verify it. I can't tell if it's a. It's just a smiley. It's so small on my screen, I legitimately couldn't tell what it was. Kelsden said, yay! Nani said, it's a meme though, Nick. Ray King said, Nick, do you watch JoJo? I do not watch JoJo. And then Nani said, what collab? Then Beth said, a surprise. And she put the goofy face. Kevin said, isn't Area 51 just a meme and not real? Area 51, there's like a real life location, and it's like a government thing, but it's not necessarily like aliens, if that makes sense. So it's not necessarily exactly what you're imagining. Then Beth said, sorry, no details. Let's see. So Sam White shared with us a Magic the Gathering card called Omnath. So I'm gonna say Sam White's MTG card that he wants us to look at, and put it in the live chat so that you guys can also look at it. Okay, so it's a legendary elemental creature. It seems like it costs a shit ton of mana. 3 normal mana, or 3 of any color mana, 2 red mana, and 2 green mana. So that's a total of like 7 mana to drop this one card. But it is a legendary elemental. It looks almost like it's a 4-armed radioactive sludge monster kind of thing. I'm about to read the effect, but first I'm going to read what's going on in the live chat. So Ray King said his stand is wrong in so many ways. How so, Ray King? Then Kel said Area 51 is real. I know exactly what's in it, but I won't say because that's spoilers. And then he said, Ray King, how is my stand wrong? I actually am curious to hear what Ray King's reasoning is for why he's like, your stand is wrong because I don't know where he's coming from. Also, don't forget to smash that like button, by the way, and tune into the live chat. Tell me what you guys' thoughts are. If you guys have any questions or anything in particular you'd like to talk about or want me to look at. So let's see. So Omnath, Locus of Rage's ability. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a 5/5 red and green elemental creature token on the battlefield. So you get one token that's of equal like strength and health of Omnath, but no effect. That's interesting. You get beaters that are essentially the equivalent of the card. Let's see. Ray King then said, okay, first, and then did not complete his statement. uh, Ray King likes to break his messages into parts, but it makes it harder to understand where he's coming from. Beth said, what collabs do y'all want Jed and I to do? Looking to do more collabs with him and other people if anyone is interested. Kel said, how do I know if the like button gives me consent to smash it? Um, you have these interesting questions. uh, uh, I feel like the like button wants you to smash, Kels. I feel like I'm hearing from the like button, oh shit, the emotional processing unit connected to my other laptop, the light's on. The computers want you to smash, Kels. You have the permission. You've been given the permission by the computer. Smash it. Let's see. Ray King said there are 4 arrows in the JoJo. I like how he said in the JoJo. Nani said I posted it, Nick. Okay, give me one moment, Nani. I still have to go over this Magic the Gathering card that Sam White showed. Kel said, yeah, but there's one Requiem arrow. Then Beth said, good joke, Kels. Posted I guess it's a smiley face. It's just a no teeth smiley face. Then Ray King said, yeah. And then Kel said, it doesn't matter. He said, I already smashed it. Oh, thank you for smashing that like button. Truly appreciate it. Kevin said, it's possible aliens can be real, but I don't believe they are, like in movies, aka the Green Men. Assuming aliens have a gender at all or a gender on Earth, don't know about, or can switch between, male or female, or no gender at all. So Kevin, how do you imagine aliens? Since you're coming in with a hot take, you're like you feel like aliens might be a thing. Uh, how do you imagine them? And what do you think another habitable planet would be like, and what kind of life would be there? Um, oh yeah, Omnath, Locus of Rage. So his other ability is whenever Omnath or another elemental you control dies, Omnath deals 3 damage to a target creature or player. Oh, okay. I don't really play Magic the Gathering, so I'm not super hype about Omnath. Uh, what I don't even know what kind of deck you play him in, and I don't know a lot about Magic the Gathering cards to compare him to anything else. So I can't be like, oh, he's good. He'd be good against X or Y or this. So I don't really have an opinion, but I'm glad that you like him. Excuse me. Its design is very minimalist, and I'm curious to know what element he's supposed to represent. Is he supposed to be like an acid elemental or something like that? Then Ryan said, Jet, if you insert your into pot of greed, do you draw 2 cards? Do you draw 2 cards or does your draw 2 cards? Then Kel said, I think aliens would just be gross humans. Why do they have to be gross though? Matt said, Jet, stop having an inaccurate channel introduction video. I do think you're probably right on that, Matt. I do think the channel has changed a lot, and that I do need to do a new introduction video. I don't even look like the guy in the introduction video anymore. Um, but yeah, how's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? Do you have any discussion topics you like to talk about on the stream? Matt said, no, no, no. Nani said Area 51 is real, but the Area 51 raid is a meme. Do you think people are going to actually do it, though? That's the question, because they might. Ray King said only 3 people in the JoJo world. Is your stand better? I'm Ray King, if only there were complete sentences. Nani said, but what if the aliens are racist? Then Matt said, Ben would say the aliens are monsters. And I expected Matt to have that Benton Galactic Monsters reference in there. I see you. Then Ray King said to use the arrow. Then Ryan said, what if aliens are sexier than humans? Do you think humans would feel inferior if every alien we saw, uh, Earth as a collective was like, they are more attractive than us? I think that would be an impressive feat on its own because beauty is like a subjective thing. I think it would be crazy if like everyone on Earth agreed like aliens are like the sexiest thing we've ever seen. Like nothing else compares, and all of humanity's like we are physically and in terms of attractiveness inferior. I'd be like, what? Let's see. Kevin said, if Jet was a Magic the Gathering planeswalker, I think I know who he will be. Oh, kind of like a personality quiz kind of thing? Okay. Which planeswalker do you think I would be, Kevin? I think that's actually an interesting setup for a topic. Kel said, Ray King, are you trying to say there are three people in JoJo with my stand but better? That actually is an interesting question, like an interesting retort. Beth said, Yo, Jet, please send a link to my cosplay Insta. Yo, Beth, feel free to post a link to your cosplay. I just don't currently have that pulled up. But that's something that you can also do. You can just do that. I would not feel weird about it at all. That's just something that you can do. um, let's see. Nani said if the aliens are racist, then Kells would join them. Kells then retracted his message. Then Matt said yes. And then Matt said, we are very pretty. No, sorry. He said, yes, we are very petty. So you feel like humanity as a whole could become really petty in regards to like aliens being sexier than us? Do you think we'd get offended? Or do you think we'd be like, hey, that's cool? Do you think it would be somewhere in the middle? Kel said, Ray King, I don't stand these incomplete sentences. Then Ryan said humans go extinct because no one wants to fuck after seeing how sexy those aliens are. That would be an odd premise. uh, then Kel said, Nani, I am an alien. Then Beth said, I can't get a link on my phone because it keeps taking me back to the Instagram app. Whenever you open Instagram on your phone, like in the browser, does it give you the option to open it either in the browser or as an app? I know whenever I go on Instagram to like see one of your posts, like in the browser on my phone, it goes, which do you want to do? It like lets you pick. I don't have your Instagram pulled up at the moment, but I can grab it pretty easily. Do 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 bow wow do 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 do. Let's see. Matt said yes. Then Beth said, Kells, that's an astounding announcement. And then Beth said, nope. Ryan said, alien pics or it didn't happen, Kells. Then Beth said, iPhones are dumb phones. And then Beth said, thank you, no problem. Kel said, I'm glad Beth is expecting of me after coming out as an alien. I feel like you meant not expecting. I had it. I had the word. I had the word that I feel like you meant. Accepting. Accepting of you. There you go. Beth then said, beatbox for us. I can. Kevin said, I think Jet will make a great Tezzeret as his Magic the Gathering Planeswalker. Could you tell me a little bit about Tezzeret? I know nothing about Tezzeret. And then Kells changed it to accepting, but he didn't change it to the accepting as in like I accept you. He changed it to the accepting as in except for that kind of accepting. Then Matt said the only magic thing Jet knows is the Is It League. I know about the Is It League, and I know that Ugin told Jace not to kill the Eldrazi. Nani said my art is still not on stream. I got you. Everybody's making requests. Let's see. Oh, Yo, so this Nani has posted some of the art of a character that he's working on. I imagine it is a martial artist type character based off of the pose and situation and everything. I also like how he kind of shows the process of him drawing out the character. Let's see. Matt said, "Stop beatboxing." Then Kels said, "You know what? The English language is gay." No problem, Kels. Let's see. So real quick, we're gonna put Nani's character. Here's a link to it on the Amino, so you guys can go check it out. Let's see. Beth said, "Matt, no." Then Ray King said, "No, I'm saying your stand is not good in a way to use the arrows, or is your stand better than the JoJo timeline?" I'm not sure if Kells ever said that his stand was better than the JoJo timeline, whatever that means. Matt then said he wanted request. Then Beth said that beatboxing was lovely. I'm glad that you liked it. Nani said noise. Matt said, but you could just have a public Discord. But Amino is just better. Then Ryan said, how gay are the English? Then Beth said, Matt, Jet told me how you make your peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I do think the way Matt makes peanut butter and jelly sandwiches is quite interesting. So Nani, in terms of your artwork, I do really like what you've done so far with it. I am curious about the shirt. I have a question. For the shirt, are those impact lines on the shirt like wrinkles from like her being in her shirt? Is that like a design? Like, is it like a star-like pattern? I can't tell fully what you're going for. Like, I don't know if it's like a symbol on the shirt or if it's supposed to be like it shows that she has boobs. This the one thing I'm stuck on. The hair is very stunning. I actually really like what you've done with it. It has like a smooth texture to it. It's not like real hair, of course, but it has that nice anime hair aesthetic. It has like a painted feel, almost like an airbrushed, but also like smooth paint strokes feel. The hair is probably my favorite part of the piece. Really, I feel like the head and hair are my favorite part of the piece so far. I know it's still a work in progress, and I'm excited to see what you're going to do with it as you continue moving forward with your piece. Let's see. So Matt said Amino is just worse. I don't think so. I actually prefer Amino over Discord personally. Then Ryan said, how does he make the sandwiches? And then Matt said, why would that even come up? Because you make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in a very interesting way. Uh, so the way that Matt makes peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, he takes out like 2 pieces of bread. He makes a thin layer of peanut butter on the first piece of bread. He then makes a thin layer of jelly on the second piece of bread. He then touches the 2 pieces of bread together, and then he separates the 2 pieces of bread and eats them separately. And I understand the thought process behind it. It's just very surprising to watch. It's that last step that like throws me. I'm like, oh, okay. But it's unique, and I think it's interesting. I just don't know anyone else who makes peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in that way. Let's see. Kevin said, who deleted my message? Oh, what happened to your message? I am not aware. Beth said, merely to see everyone's reactions. Kel said, Ray King, can you rephrase what you said? I am way confused. Moi spelled, excuse me, as if it's the acronym for Mastered Ultra Instinct. Let's see. Ray King said, I know what he said. Then Matt said, I already know the reaction, nor am I surprised by it. Kevin said, I guess a bot automatically deleted a message, even though the link was real and not a troll. It happens. YouTube can be weird. Nani said, thanks, Nick. No problem, Nani. Beth said, Matt, will you make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on the vlog? That's an interesting request. Matt doesn't even like being on the screen. It would just be like his hands over bread. And he'd be like, so today, we're going to be making peanut butter and jelly. And he likes to be Mr. Hand. So he likes to have one hand. So he'd be like, today we're gonna be making peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then with one hand, Matt, you'd have to like dip the knife into the peanut butter, and you can't get your face on screen because you don't want to show your face. So you'd have to do that. Would be so awkward. I'd be interested in just seeing him untie the bread tie and stuff, and like just with one hand, and like unscrew the jar with one hand and stuff like that. I think that'd be like an interesting challenge to like try and make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on stream. People can't see your face. It's like against the rules, and you got to do it all with that one hand. Uh, now that actually just seems more interesting. Um, Kevin said Magic the Gathering Gamepedia.com Tezzeret. There is his lore with no spaces. Yo, Kevin, could you give us like a very short, maybe like 2 to 3 sentence summary about why you feel like me and Tezzeret would be similar? Just for like the sake of making it easier, I guess, to like talk about and jump right into the topic. Beth said, I just think the peanut butter sandwich thing is funny. I think it's interesting. Nani said, Matt wouldn't do it. I feel like Matt wouldn't be down for that in particular, like doing that, but I do think that would be an interesting video now that I think about it. At first, I was like, I don't really know what the appeal of that would be. Then I thought about it and I was like, oh, I can definitely see what the appeal would be because it just sounds difficult. It just actually does. I'd be like somewhat impressed. Ryan said, how to basic making sandwiches but differently. Oh, how to basic. Yeah, because that's a YouTube channel. Yeah, that would be interesting. Kel said, Ray King, DM me on Amino so we can talk about it. Then Ray King said, true, Matt face is not bad. He does not like to show. The broken English thing got me, Ray King. That was a complete thought, though. Matt said, Jet, stop hating sub anime so I can show you Fate Detective Conan. I prefer Detective Conan as is. What do you mean by Fate Detective Conan? Because that sounds interesting. Not gonna lie. But what are you talking about? Ryan then says socialism randomly. I don't know what's going on with that. Also, I noticed that we got 8 viewers. Hey, I appreciate the love. Don't forget to smash that like button if you haven't already. And feel free to join the discussion. Ask any questions, bring up discussion topics, show me stuff that you want me to like talk about, stuff like that. Ray King said orange. That is indeed a color. Nani said, imagine Matt saying to stop hate. There is no need to imagine, for that indeed has happened. Then Matt said Detective Conan in the Fate universe. So you're not saying that it's Fate Stay Night, but done in the style of Detective Conan. You're saying a Detective Conan, Fate Stay Night crossover? Is that what you're referring to? Then Ray King said, Plus Death Note. Then Beth said, do you talk about hypnosis on the vlogs ever? And what is everyone's thoughts on hypnosis? The only mentions of hypnosis I think I've brought up recently is that every time I go to a bookstore and I try to find a book on it, they're always like, we don't have one. The first time I went, they were like, we have one on self-hypnosis. And then they walked me to the section it was supposed to be at, and then they're like, oh, it's just gone. We just don't know what happened to it. And then the second time I went, they're like, we just don't have anything. Matt then said Conan style. I don't think I'd be necessarily interested in that. I'm just not a fan of Fate Stay Night personally. The Conan crossover almost got me mad. If it was a straight up Conan Fate Stay Night crossover, I would have been like, what? What are you talking? I'll look at that. I'm like, that sounds ridiculous. Let's hit it up. Nani said, I'm redoing Deku versus Goku. Okay, ballin'. Feel free to share on the Amino. Appreciate it. Matt said, not actual Conan. Okay. Let's see. Ryan said, Jet, Michelle was watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood in dub. Brotherhood has a slow beginning, she says. Depending on how far or much you watched, it would be worth it to try again. Then Matt said, Jet, you couldn't do the first 2 episodes of Fate Zero. That is not representative of the whole. And I'm not saying that the beginning of shows necessarily are representative of the whole show. But I do have trouble when people are like, it gets better. You just gotta pull through. You just gotta watch like a whole bunch of stuff, like hours of content for it to get good. I'd rather just you tell me when it gets good, and I just watch from there. To be honest, than like trying to like slog. I just don't want to really slog through anything. I'd rather just jump to the part where it gets good. Um, Nani said, "Is Conan that age man guy?" Conan's like the detective who gets turned into a kid and then is a kid forever, it seems like, and he solves mysteries. And he lives with his girlfriend who doesn't know it's him. Excuse me. Let's see. Matt said, Jet tried watching original Full Metal Alchemist and couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand it is strong wording. I just wasn't really a fan. Um, I watched the beginning of Full Metal Alchemist, like the normal one, and then I watched the beginning of Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Um, I also watched some of, but didn't complete the Full Metal Alchemist like Netflix movie. So I've tried the like anime, the like Brotherhood version of the anime, and like the Netflix like movie thing. I haven't finished like any of them. It hasn't interested me. It doesn't like pique my interest. I don't feel like I'm super hype for Full Metal. Nani said caveman. Oh, you're thinking like Conan the Barbarian, Nani. I know, not that Conan. That's not the one that Matt's referring to. Though Conan the Barbarian crossover with Full Metal Alchemist sounds interesting. Matt said, I feel you could watch this without Fate context. Um, you feel you could watch. I could watch what? The thing that you're talking about? The like detective style Fate Stay Night thing? Um, Ray King said, time to spoil anime. Then Matt said, although the context is nice. Ryan said, I haven't Loy the second yet. What? What is that? I don't even know what that is. Then Ray King said, wait. Then Matt said, it's good. He said, the Netflix movie is a non-try. Uh, so you just feel like they didn't even try with it. Ray King said, I know the show. It is good. I didn't really get into it. It's not something that I'm like, man, I like really want to check out. Then Matt said, stop killing the stream. Is the stream lagging? Is there like some lag or like harder delay or anything like that? If so, I apologize. It's the Wi-Fi, aka the Wi-Fi. Do, 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 do. Let's see. Um, Next week I'm gonna start looking into finally moving into like my own apartment. I'm gonna be getting things set up to move, so it's not like next week I'm gonna suddenly teleport and just be in an apartment. I'm gonna start talking to Emerald Ridge Apartments about moving. But first, I want to get my first paycheck and have it as like proof of income to be like, hey, I'm like making like money, so I can pay rent and like start getting things set up and stuff like that. But I know that proof of income is a part of moving, so I want to have that first paycheck and then start trying to get the ball rolling. Let's see. Ray King said never. Then Matt said all three of us are referring to Al Malloy. Don't know what that is. Beth said, weren't we in the bookstore together when they found the self-hypnosis book for you? And wasn't that our first Bridge Street date? Um, I don't think you were. Were you with me? I know that I went to Bridge Street early for, but I could be wrong. You could have also been there when they were like going over to like try and find the book. I just remember they ended up not finding the book. Ryan said, I started watching the Seven Deadly Sins season 2. I know my mom really likes Seven Deadly Sins. I couldn't get into it. That was another anime that I didn't really get into. Beth said, I've been watching Hunter x Hunter recently. I'm glad that you've been vibing with Hunter x Hunter, Beth. I'm curious, where are you currently in the series? Then Ray King said, Weefy. Ryan said, I am up to date on One Punch Man and on Lore Olympus. I'm trying to get up to date on One Punch Man. I've been reading the web comic, but I stopped reading the web comic not because it was bad, but because I started looking at other stuff. And I'm trying to get caught up on the Immortal Hulk. I'm on Immortal Hulk issue number 16 at the moment. Let's see. Beth said, "Got to dip and make my lunch for summer school tomorrow." It's weird. It's interesting to call it summer school because college you can have a semester during any season, so it's just normal college. Only one more year till college graduation. You got this, Beth. I hope you enjoy making your lunch, and I'll text you after the stream. Matt said Doctor Stone is also great, but again, you won't watch it. Doctor Stone. What is Doctor Stone? Uh, I feel like I may have heard that name before, but it's not ringing a bell. It's kind of like the bell's like jingling, but it's not. I don't get a picture with that. Let's see. Kel said, "Ray King, do you have Amino? If you don't, we can talk elsewhere." Then Matt said, "Because you can't not multitask anime. I prefer to be able to like write while I'm watching stuff." Speaking of which, I'm still working on four different superhero short stories. I think last time I did the vlog, we got to the point where I had finally revealed what Power Down's abilities are. He's a villain that I have set up for a superhero short story, and it seemed like Matt had an interest in it, but it was like right at the end when I like finally was able to like get to that point. Let's see. Ray King said Hunter and Seven, the shit, meaning he likes Hunter Hunter and Seven Deadly Sins. And then Ryan said Lore Olympus link. He then said links won't show up again. It happens. YouTube's weird. Ryan said Doctor Stone is a new anime heavily marketed by Crunchyroll. I can give it that old school Google. See what Doctor Stone is supposed to be, other than Cyborg's dad. Matt said everybody gets turned to stone thousands of years later. Wait a minute. I know what Doctor Stone is. It was on. It was like a Shonen Jump thing. Cause I went to the Shonen Jump webpage once, and it was like, yeah, one of like our top manga or whatever. And then I'm like, I've never heard of this before, and I read the description for it, and I was like, whatever, and I never checked it out. But yeah, um, as soon as I like typed in Doctor Stone on Google, it pulled up the picture for the manga, and I was like, I've seen that. I've seen, okay, yeah. Is it good? Is the anime good? Uh, let's see. Matt said everybody gets turned to stone thousands of years later. Some people get out of the stone and must bring civilization back through science. Do they have powers? Are there powers in it? Is it a shonen? Is it like Monster of the Week? Is there a dub? Let's see. Ray King said, Kel's voice chat time for Discord. Kel said, Jet, what's Power Down's ability? He said, is that the villain who can negate card effects? So Power Down's abilities are, he has precognition. I've changed it a little bit. Before, I just gave him precognition and he didn't have any restrictions on it. Now he has precognition, but he has to focus on a specific person, place, or thing in the future for him to be able to see the future of it. So he has precognition, and then he has hero killing homing burst, which is a energy attack where he like shoots a ball of energy at his opponent. It's a homing attack, so it tracks the opponent, and as soon as it's fired, whoever the target of the attack is, their powers are negated, and the effects of their powers are negated. So if you have like any abilities, they stop working, and then if your abilities have any like byproduct, like if they've like created something or have caused something to be a thing, that also goes away until the attack hits you. So it only negates your powers and the effects of your powers until you're hit by the attack. The attack also, it's not an instant kill, but it kills you within a few seconds of being hit. So if you get hit by it, you will die, but it's not instantaneous. You'll like collapse and then die. Which I know sounds kind of lame, but depending on what your powers are, you know, you may be able to try to do something after the attack lands. Plus, that attack wouldn't stop certain heroes. You know what I mean? Because certain people have powers that like prevent them from dying. You know, so once your powers come back, it wouldn't really matter. you'd be like, oh, well, my powers are back. So yeah, um, I really like Power Down. I feel like he's one of the toughest opponents I've come up with for this specific superhero character who I've been writing stories about. So I'm actually really interested in actually finishing that story. Like I said, I'm writing 4 different superhero short stories all at the same time, each featuring the same main hero and facing off against different villains, and I've been enjoying it so far. Kevin said, "Okay, it's done, Jet. You can see so on Amino." Okay, so do 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 do. Wow. Excuse me. Matt said Power Down is a dumb character. How so? Kel said Ray King. I don't really want a voice chat. We can just text on Discord instead? Question mark. Matt said no powers in Doctor Stone. Already feel like I'm not really into it. He says it is a shonen. Okay. Do they like make potions? Do they like fight with any kind of like special gadget or like chemicals or gear or like special weapons? What sets their fighting apart from other shonen? And then Matt said no dub, hence why you won't watch it. I may not watch it. I might check out that manga if it's good. You know what I mean? Like what makes the fighting special? Um, Ray King said Tokyo Ghoul, and then he said, "Okay, Kels." And then Kels corrected his thing to "Can we?" Then Matt said again, "Power Down is dumb." So why do you feel like Power Down is dumb? And then Ray King said, "If you want." Then Kels said on Discord, "I'm that one guy Kels hashtag 7442." Matt said he's tough because he just cancels powers. He isn't actually doing anything interesting. Well, I feel like you're underestimating what he can do with his precognition. Like, because of the fact that he knows what you're going to do before you do it, that is, if he plans ahead of time for a fight, he can kind of scope out who you are, and then based off of, like, what he scoped out, he can, like, figure out ways to, like, defeat you because he knows what you're going to do once you guys encounter each other. He can pre plan and stuff like that. Like, even though, you know how Batman doesn't have superpowers? But with enough information, Batman can kind of overcome an opponent who's like really powerful. It's a similar thing. Like Power Down uses the knowledge from his precognition to then prepare counters to try and stop his opponents. Because not everyone Power Down is going to fight necessarily is going to have powers. So he needs ways to get around non-powered people. You know what I mean? Also, Power Down's motivation as a character is that with his precognition, he's seen that superpowered beings are going to essentially bring about the end of the world. So he's trying to nip that in the bud. He wants to try and kill off as many superpowered beings as he can to try and avoid this potential Armageddon from occurring. So he's going out of his way to try and go and murder as many superpowered beings as he can to effectively save the world, is his idea. He feels like he's entirely in the right, so his thing is that he's hunting down superpowered people to kill. Let's see. Matt said precognition is also broken in a 1v1 fight. And then Matt said shoots power nullifier, cancels any attempts of powers. Kel said Matt isn't saying he's weak. He's saying his powers aren't interesting because no matter what, he can just negate card effects. Well, I think part of him negating the card effects is what makes him interesting, because if he's facing off against an opponent who relies heavily on their powers, that opponent now has to find a clever way to get around that and beat them. A lot of villain characters in comics are based around having counter, well, not having counters. Well, yeah, you can say it either way. Being counters to the heroes they fight. So they have some kind of edge that makes it where the heroes have to think outside of the box in order to defeat them. Superman has a ton. He's actually a really good example. Because most of the people who Superman fights aren't just like, oh, I'm stronger than you. You know, most of the time, Superman fights people who aren't stronger than him, like at all. Like it's not like just a battle of whose powers are stronger. It's more like my powers are a direct counter to what you can normally do. How can you stop me? Kind of thing. Matt said his blast still kills people regardless of powers or not. He said it has the added benefit of canceling powers. Ryan then says socialism greater than. And then Matt said Batman actually researches opponents and has to make gadgets to make use of counterplay. Power Down just has that baked in. Now, Power Down doesn't have to research outside of using his power. That's true. But I will say that Power Down does have to go out of his way to make or find counters to things that aren't powers. You know what I mean? And then Matt said, and the blast homes. You're like, it tracks down its opponent. Also, the blast, you don't get your powers back if the blast doesn't hit you, but the blast is going to try and track your position and like hit you. So the blast is going to go out of its way to make contact. But if you somehow didn't get hit by the blast, I don't know how you wouldn't. I imagine the blast would like break its way through barriers and defenses and stuff. But if you were able to somehow get behind a barrier that could stop the blast, then you just wouldn't have powers anymore. Matt said he just needs to shoot the blast. He said that is the counterplay. But what if he's fighting someone who doesn't have powers? Because that matters. You could have really good gadgets that like help stop you from getting pwned by the thing. Think about like Iron Man versus Power Down. Sure, Power Down can see the future, and Power Down has his blast that can like track you down, and if it hits you, and again, when I say when it hits you, you only have like a few seconds to live. That's also like if it's just hitting you raw. It's under the assumption that it's hitting like a non-powered person who doesn't have any like extra defenses or anything. Like Iron Man in his armor might be able to survive getting hit by the blast because he has like additional protections that aren't that aren't power based. You know what I mean? So Power Down does have to work harder to fight off against people who don't have abilities. That being said, he can see the future, so he can plan and try and make sure that he has what he needs to counter what his opponent's going to do. Let's see. Matt said the only specific counterplay is to speed blitz Power Down and hope he doesn't and hope he didn't precog you. So you're like you'd have to take him by surprise and make sure that he like doesn't know that you're coming. Ryan said just use Exodia. Kevin said so Power Down will lose to Iceman. He said can't Power Down and removes powers if you can't hit him. So yeah. So when you said Power Down will lose to Iceman, I think Iceman would probably lose to Power Down. So Iceman is an Omega level mutant. He's really powerful. He's not like a second or third string X-Men. He is up there. But because X-Men specifically are like, our powers are baked in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, X-Men characters are like, this is definitely powers. It's not like I have a gadget thing. As soon as Power Down fires his blast, Iceman's just like a normal guy. If anything, Power Down could potentially kill Iceman just if Iceman's surfing on like his ice thing that he does, where he makes an ice path for himself. Power Down like shoots the blast while he knows Iceman is flying. Well, not flying, but doing his weird ice skating thing, and he knows that Iceman's really high up. Iceman's power's cut off, and your boy just falls. He could actually just fall and die. And if he didn't die from the fall, the homing blast hits him on the ground. And then he has like seconds to live as his powers come back. You know what I mean? Matt said also, at what point are gadgets not superpowered? Because powers as a base concept isn't specifically defined. Well, I can tell you this. Iron Man doesn't have powers. Iron Man has like a suit. He has like a series of different suits that he can wear, that he's able to use in order to fight back against his opponents. Um, Batman technically has powers. He actually, not too long ago, was like in a pit of Dionysium, which is some fake uh, DC chemical. I may be pronouncing the name of it wrong, but he fell into what I think is called Dionysium, and it kind of made him like younger and more in his like physical prime, almost like a super soldier serum kind of thing. They just don't talk about it a lot. But if Power Down was to shoot his blast, I would say that Batman would lose the effects of the Dionysium. I do think that counts as a power. Let's see. And then Matt said, so Iron Man, depending on that definition, could get wrecked. I feel like Iron Man's suit doesn't count as a power. Ray King said, do Goku mastered Ultra Instinct, Power Down will die. So that's actually really interesting, Ray King. The concept of Power Down versus Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. Because Mastered Ultra Instinct is described as a technique rather than like a power. And you're like, what does that mean? Well, it's supposed to be more like a martial arts thing. It's more him like being able to react by instinct alone and like dodge things. And I guess I am curious to see, even though it's a homing attack, like it tracks your position, is Master Ultra Instinct on its own enough to dodge the blast? Because the blast is supposed to negate Goku's powers, but powers is actually a really interesting thing to discuss when it's like something you're born with thing, and it's not like a mutation. Because I'll go as far as to say I do think the X gene counts as like a superpower thing. That is definitely that you have like a origin to your powers that's not just like everyone in my race has this ability. Like I would say that like Super Saiyan is a superpower for Goku, but his other abilities aren't superpowers, if that makes sense. Like him being fast and strong and stuff like that, those are just like characteristics of his race, but they're not like something that is unique to his thing, if that makes sense. Like I think Goku wouldn't be able to go Super Saiyan, but he still would probably be as good as he normally is for the most part. And maybe he won't have access to ki. I could also see that being a thing. Because ki manipulation is, I would say in its own right, a power. So I still think Goku could probably dodge that blast long enough to kill Power Down. I think if he was to kill Power Down before the blast hit him, the blast would probably go away. So I think Goku could probably beat Power Down. Let's see. Kel said, I think Power Down is too good. Precog plus power negating super mega laser. Well, I do actually already have a way for my hero to defeat Power Down. So I've pre-written the story. It's going to be called Maker Man versus Power Down. And I'm in the process of actually writing the story out. So I have it all outlined. But I'm like, I guess in the middle of the story right now, in the actual like write-up of it. And I do have a way for the hero to end up defeating Power Down. And I think it'll be interesting. Matt said he is too good. I don't understand how Jet doesn't see this. I mean, I do know that Power Down is really good. He's really good by design. Kells, you would love this dance that my dad's doing. He's shuffling
Why
into
do you
the
have
room
to tell
like
them
this.
I'm dancing? They would never know.
Let's see. Kevin said, is that Iceman canon? I thought there was an Iceman that uses ice powers without gadgets. Yes, there is an Iceman who uses ice powers without gadgets. The one on the X-Men. I just think Power Down would beat him. Iceman's really powerful, but I feel like Power Down's powers are beyond Iceman, if that makes sense. Ryan said Batman has super money. Uh, then Matt said, but for instance, one of Iron Man's suits is like an alien merge with the armor, if I remember correctly. I know that his superior Iron Man suit is fashioned like a symbiote. I'm not sure if it actually is a symbiote or not, but that is an interesting question. And then Matt said, so that suit would be super powered. If it is a symbiote, then yeah, power down would negate the symbiote aspects of the suit. If there were non symbiote aspects of the suit, they would still work based on how power down is set up. Then Ryan said, it's like money, but no one gets suspicious about building the Batcave. um, I'm sure Batman has to pay people off and stuff like that, or at least had to at a certain point. Matt said, is Hadouken a power? I would say the Hadouken is a power. Now, the reason why I'm like, Mastered Ultra Instinct isn't a power, but Hadouken is because Mastered Ultra Instinct doesn't seem to have anything to do with like key manipulation or nothing about it is like a super powered thing. If anything, they describe Ultra Instinct as being like it's a mastery of a martial arts technique that allows you to fight without thinking. You know what I mean? It's like an instinctual thing that you find. The way that it's presented in the show, it looks like a form. It looks like it has like all these crazy properties to it. But the way it's described in the show, it's more or less like a state of mind. Like it's not really like a power. I'd say the Hadouken is like a power because it's like the manipulation of like his Hado or whatever. You know, like anything that's like that where like the average person of your species can't do it, then I'm like that's a power. And it's not necessarily that they can't do it, but like most don't do it regularly or have the ability to do the thing. Like I would say like nin abilities and Hunter x Hunter are like superpowers. Matt said powers as a word is very loaded and can't be used as a broad term. Superpower has like a definition though, I imagine. We can pull up definition for superpower. A very powerful and influential. Oh, thank you. It hit me up with the country definition for superpower. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, thank you. Do you have a definition for like a comic book style superpower? No, Merriam-Webster does not seem to. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's awesome. I love not having a definition for the type of powers I'm looking for. Hey, let's see. Matt said without an in-universe definition. Well, I'm trying to give like my in-universe definition. Kevin said, would Power Down make Hulk just human form, not Hulk form? The Power Down I feel like isn't 100% clear, and would Superman lose his super strength, flight, and laser eyes? So I feel like Superman would be unaffected by Power Down. The reason why is because Superman has powers that are a part of like how his race works. Well, fuck it. To be honest, Superman might lose his power. It's kind of hard for Superman. I'd say Superman doesn't lose his powers because Superman's powers are a direct correlation to his race, for one. Well, that's the thing. Maybe Power Down shoots his blast and Superman's solar energy reserves zip to zero. Like it drains him of like his solar energy. Because that would make sense. If Superman didn't have any solar energy built up, he'd be like a normal guy. So I think Power Down, by the way that his power works, when he shoots his blast, it would be the equivalent of Superman suddenly being like, I have none. I have no solar energy in me. And a similar thing for Goku, I feel like it would be the equivalent of Goku being like, I don't have Super Saiyan cells. By the way, Toriyama did this thing where he's like, Super Saiyan works depending on how many Super Saiyan cells you have. It would be like as if Goku didn't have Super Saiyan cells. And if Power Down was to fight like Anakin Skywalker or something, it would be like, it's like you don't have any midichlorians. You know, it's something to that extent. Where it's like, oh, you just don't have the powers. Then Ryan said Jet's dad dance expose. Ray King said Goku will jump over him, hold him down, and blast will kill the maker. Uh, are you like Goku goes up to Power Down and holds him like in front of Goku, and it's like now your own blast will kill you. Ugh. I mean, I guess that depends on how Power Down's homing thing works. Because if it is like that, then I could see that Goku being like, "Got him, stunt." But also, Goku isn't the smartest cookie in the jar. Uh, I'm very curious to see how Goku would handle that specific type of situation. Let's see. Nani said, "I see." Kel said, "We could have got a Jet's dad's dance reveal." Put a disappointed face. Matt said, "The average character in Dragon Ball can't Kaioken." He said, "But that would be a technique." He said, "Even though there's a strong argument for that to be a power." I feel like if it's key manipulation, it's more like a power. That's where I would like draw the line on stuff like that. Like I'd let Goku have all his physical characteristics because it's like as a part of his race he's stronger than like the normal person, and he has trained his body to be much stronger and faster than his race. Like Goku would still be super strong and super fast and still be like a master of martial arts and stuff like that. Goku would get to keep all of that. I feel like stuff that involves ki, I feel like Goku would lose because I feel like that in its own right is like a power. And Kaioken also has to do with ki. Like I don't think he would get that. Let's see. Matt said, "Jet, just state where people's powers come from in your story, and Power Down negates it." He said, "It's still dumb, but at least it is consistent." He said, "Keep in mind, Zenkai Boost is a power. Zenkai Boost is not a power. That's a thing of his race. Like I said, if your race normally has it, it's not an ability. But if it's like your race only under very specific circumstances has it, then it is like a power. And I will say that like the manipulation of like energy types and stuff like that, I would also count that as a power. That is like an ability that I'd say would get negated. Matt says, so Goku probably gets wrecked. I don't necessarily think Goku gets wrecked. Goku's normal, like, base speed is probably fast enough for him to outrun the blast and, like, kill Power Down before the blast would hit him. Then Nani said, "You feel me?" Professor Trevenant said, "Harem anime are awesome." He said, just caught up with like 10. Feel like Looney Tunes with all the slapstick. Interesting. Yo, Professor Trevenant, welcome to the stream. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Matt said, "Jet, you just said Saiyan cells would get negated." He said that includes Zenkai boost, not Saiyan cells, Super Saiyan cells, which is a stupid concept, but essentially Akira Toriyama has made Super Saiyan very similar to the Force in Star Wars. Super Saiyan cells are special cells that can develop in a Saiyan's body, and it's very rare to have a large amount, like a large concentration of Super Saiyan cells inside of a Saiyan body. But if you do have a large number of Super Saiyan cells inside of your body, then you can go Super Saiyan. That would not include Zenkai Boost. Professor Tremnett said, "Nah, just to hang, man." Oh, you're just here to hang out? That's totally fine. Welcome. It's good to have you. Ranking said, "Nick, that means Nin is not a power." So that's where we gotta get into. I feel like energy manipulation stuff is a power. I know that people can do it, but with Nin, it's like something you have to get awakened. With Nin specifically, um, so if Power Down shot his blast, it would be the equivalent of putting his opponent in a state of Zetsu, which in Hunter x Hunter is like when all your like nin pores or whatever close. Because that's just power negation is just a thing in Hunter x Hunter. Like there's already like a name for how like that works. Like it would just put you in a state of Zetsu. It would like pull off your ability. It would be as if you couldn't do the nin manipulation thing. But there are special circumstances for how nin abilities work. It's not too hard to explain how you would shut that down or how power down would shut it down. Let's see. Matt said, "Jet, please delete power down as a concept." I feel like power down works. I don't think it's like too crazy. Kel says, sorry I'm not talking. Right now I'm drawing. Oh, no problem, Kels. What are you working on, like art-wise? Matt said Green Lantern is technically technology. Green Lantern would not be affected by power down. Green Lantern's ring is a gadget. I don't know of any powers Green Lantern has. Um, I read his entry in the DC Comics character encyclopedia that came out like this year. I don't think he does have any powers. It's just the ring. Matt said that is terrible. What do you mean it's terrible? Power down is not suited. Like his attack based ability is so specific that it seems to mainly affect people who have powers. If you don't have powers, then it puts you in like a. If you don't have powers, it puts you in a okay position, but Power Down still has precognition. He still has plenty of time to prepare as long as he can like do the fight on his own terms. You know what I mean? Matt said that is why Power Down is a dumb concept. I don't really think he's a dumb concept. Based on what Power Down wants to do, I feel like he has really good powers for trying to achieve his goal, um, and that his powers and his goal line up really well. But against an opponent who's not power based, who is good due to like other means, he could be able to. I mean, Power Down would have like a more difficult fight. Like the things that put Power Down at a disadvantage, I'd say one, the fact that he only can see the future. So if you do something before Power Down tries to like precog scan you, then that actually could give you like a big leg up. That's something he wouldn't be aware of. Or if you do something where even if he is watching you, like through precognition, but it's something that is so subtle that he doesn't pick up on it, but it has huge, not immediately obvious ramifications, then it could also get him. You know what I mean? Matt said a gun technically beats him. I do think if Power Down was in a situation where someone was going to like shoot him, again, Power Down uses precognition to like see that something like that were to happen, and then he would take steps to try to prevent that. You know what I mean? I feel like that's like his best bet for things like that. And then Matt said, "What stopped a police officer from just shooting him? The fact that he can like see it coming." That would be his way. Also, we have hit 9:01 p.m. It's time for me to cut the stream. I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these live streams. There is a post that Kevin put up on the Amino. I will definitely check that out. I have not checked that out yet. My apologies. But I'd like to thank you all once again for tuning in. If you guys would like to help out the channel, feel free to send a super chat in the live chat. And donate a little bit of the muns, or hit us up on Patreon and donate some muns as well. I also do gigs on Fiverr. If you want me to write a custom rap for you, that's been a very popular gig. I've actually made like $40 in the last 2 days off of 2 raps. So the rap gig has been rather popular. But yeah, also feel free to buy my books on Amazon. We've been talking about my superhero, supervillain concepts today during the end of the stream. If any of this sounds interesting, or you're interested in hearing about how I'm able to write characters like that and they believably lose or win a fight against characters who have counters specifically built around beating them, then you might be interested in checking out my Superpower Battle series of videos. Not videos, books that I have on Amazon. But anyways, thank you all once again for tuning in. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black the one and only, logging out. Peace, guys. Thank you all once again for tuning in. Check it out.